everybody, it's Allie, and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Allie. And today, I'm going to be talking about planning your dream shoot. And I got this idea from Mike on my Facebook page. I asked, hey, what kind of ideas do you have? And he was like, well, what about you've got an idea for a dream shoot and you just want to know plan for how to shoot it, especially right now with all the social isolation, it's kind of harder to do shoots. So let's get to planning. And that got me thinking, I'm not just going to go over how to plan your dream shoot, but really everything that goes into it, including the execution, so that you can make that dream shoot possible. So stay tuned. I'm going to cover two scenarios. One, a dream shoot that I recently shot, and a shoot that I'm planning. Okay, so you're a photographer and you just, you want to work with some of your model friends, maybe your makeup artist friends, some of your stylist friends, and you want to plan a shoot and you guys want it to be epic. Well, first thing you need is inspiration. And you can get inspiration all kinds of places. For the shoot that I'm planning right now, I was inspired by an Instagram photographer in Russia, and I love her work. And I love her use of color and drama. But here's what I'm going to tell you that I think is really important to understand about using other people's work as your inspiration. It's your inspiration. You're not copying their stuff. You're putting your own spin on it. Likely, you're not going to make it look like theirs anyway. And if you did make it look exactly like theirs, then what's the point? The point is to come up with an idea and then make it your own. So find some inspiration. Find it on Instagram. You can find it just Google Images. You can find them, on Facebook. You can find them in photography groups. You can find imagery all over the place. You can find it in your dreams. Look for some sort of inspiration. And then the second thing is planning. And so I'm going to give you some examples of some planning. The shoot that I wanted to talk about that I recently did was the Cyberpunk 2077 shoot with Natalie and Phil. So Phil and I collaborated as photographers. Natalie was the costumer, makeup artist, and model. Phil and I had seen her look, and we knew what it looked like. And we both were like, Cyberpunk, that looks like so much fun. We knew, okay, we're gonna do this. The first thing we did was started a Pinterest board. Especially with two photographers working together, you and one model, you guys really need to get on the same page. And believe me, Phil and I were not on the same page. So we got together, we started the Pinterest board, we talked about the shoot. Phil really wanted to bring in a high fashion look, which I thought was cool. So he pinned that stuff. And I'm gonna just show you what we pinned for that shoot. And this is the Pinterest board that Phil and I collaborated on. And you will see that it's not all cyberpunk. And this is important because this is partly how we brought our vision together. We have a lot of these cyberpunk style images that tell us the kinds of lighting and the color we wanted. But these Vogue fashion images were because we wanted to bring that element into the posing. So where you don't really see a cohesive Pinterest board here, it actually is because it's bringing together all of the ideas that we had so that when we do the shoot, we start thinking, okay, what was it we wanted to do? And we can refer back to this and then we can start shooting and keep our inspiration together. So after you've done your pinning, you have to start doing your planning. And for Cyberpunk, we knew right away, this is a studio shoot, and it will likely need some Photoshop skills and some compositing. So the first thing that Phil and I did, because we were going to be working with gels and we were going to be working with very dramatic lighting, and we wanted very specific lighting. So we got Emma, my creepy ass mannequin, and Phil and I got together for a good hour and a half to 2 hours in my studio, and we practiced lighting Emma, and we changed up the backgrounds until we found something that worked. That 2 hours was gold because when Natalie came over, we were able to put her in front of the set and start shooting. Something you want to think about when you're doing a shoot like this is it's generally going to be a collaboration, but someone's got to be in charge. For the Cyberpunk 2077, I'm not sure who was in charge. I mean, I like to think I was in charge. I'm sure Phil thought he was in charge, and Natalie was just happy to have both of us shooting her, but she also had a very clear idea of what she wanted, and that was great. When I say who's in charge, I'm just meaning who's driving the creative vision, and you're still gonna listen to the input of the people you're working with. So you don't want to be like, well, I'm in charge, so everybody's gonna do it like this. That's not what I mean. What I mean is, okay, I'm gonna take responsibility for the creative vision of this, and I'm gonna make sure that the Pinterest board makes sense. I'm gonna make sure that everybody's on board. I'm gonna make sure that the costuming and the makeup and the location and all of that is going to work. And then I'm gonna make sure that everybody involved is on that same page. And you can do that through group chats or through Facebook Hangouts or whatever works for you. We knew Cyber 2077 was going to be in the studio. There was just no way to get that kind of look out in nature. Maybe we could have gone into the city at night, but it was really freaking cold. So we did it in the studio because it just was what worked. But you want to think about your environment, and you want to think about things like, okay, so say you want a castle shoot, and there's no castles anywhere around. Well, then you might be able to composite it, and you might be able to fake it. So you find a good stone old wall, like in my area, I might go to Old Town Alexandria and find a stone wall so that I can shoot it at an angle on the side, knowing that I'm going to composite out whatever's dropped off on the other side of the wall, and maybe I'll have a castle in the background. So you plan that. If you're going to do a composite, you plan it in advance so you know. You scout the location. For example, the shoot that I am planning now that was inspired by Irina, I don't know how to say her last name. I recently found this photographer, Irina Dizal, I think that's how you say her name, on Instagram. And she really inspires me. I love her use of color. I love her posing. I love just everything she's doing. And some of these images have really, really captured me. And especially like this set here, where you can see the dress blends right in with the surrounding moss. And I think it's stunning how she's done this in multiple of these images where she just blends her model in with her background. And you can see it in this kind of image here. There's other ones where I know she did something like this here, where this model is just blended in, and you know, she has a way of, oh, I love this one. Again, the color toning, and she has this way of bringing her models and the environment together. And so I started this Pinterest board, and it does have a lot of her images and other people's images, and you can see where I'm keying this in is to be glamorous, beautiful, and I'm really paying attention to colors. And some of these are the type of color where you can see everything is blending and meshing. But then I love my drama and I love my contrast. And so I think eventually I would also like to do a shoot that has these complementary colors, the reds and the greens and the strong colors. And so this is a work in progress. And I am planning this shoot with Sierra. I want that mossy look. So I was out walking the dogs and I found a location that has beautiful moss and beautiful tree structure, and it's right next to the creek. And I shot this a week ago. Now I'm gonna shoot the shoot in another week. So the scene you're seeing now is gonna be very different because it's spring. In 2 weeks, this thing's gonna green up beautifully, especially with all the rain we've had. So I am planning the location, and I know that I will be doing some Photoshop. I bought a dress for Sierra to wear, and it's a beautiful emerald green, long, what's called a convertible dress, so she can change up the top. And it'll fit me too, and it's a medium. I can slap that baby on a lot of different models, and I love green, so I didn't mind buying a dress for the shoot. So she's gonna wear this dress. I'm also gonna bring some green chiffon because I wanna have fabric that will extend the dress out. But you know what? I'm gonna have to do some Photoshop to get the look I want. And I know this, so I'm planning for it. If you plan, if you think about, okay, how am I gonna process this before you shoot it, you've got a heck of a lot better shot of getting that dream image. So those are my tips. And you just wanna think about when you're planning this shoot, first thing you need, inspiration. What are you gonna shoot? Get a team together. Take responsibility. Somebody takes responsibility. The model can take responsibility. The makeup artist can take responsibility. Somebody takes creative responsibility, but everybody works together. Everybody brings an idea. Everybody brings something to the table. It's gonna be the wardrobe. Where you're gonna shoot. Is it on location? Is it studio? Are you going to need to composite? What kind of compositing? Is it going to just be enhancing the current background? Or is it going to be an entire background replacement? Or is it going to be adding in elements like fluttering butterflies and flames coming out of someone's hand? All of these things you need to think about. Scout your locations or practice your lighting techniques. If you have a mannequin, even better. But if you don't, grab a friend, or if you have to, use your dog. I have a friend who uses a soccer ball as his lighting inspiration. Once you've got all this planned, you're ready to execute, and you're gonna feel prepared, and you're gonna be so much more successful because you went through all these steps. So I hope this helps, because right now, we're not doing a lot of shooting. So let's plan. Let's get together with our friends and let's go, what's your dream shoot? How are we gonna make it happen? Let's create a board. Let's share that board. Let's plan. Let's all get on the same page, and let's create some amazing art once we're allowed back out there. So I will see you again in 2 weeks. And next week on Monday, Sierra has challenged me to a digital makeup challenge. And I think you'll enjoy watching the results on that, because 2 weeks from now, I'm gonna give a tutorial on how I created that digital makeup look. And trust me, that little brat didn't make it easy on me. Of course, I didn't expect she would. So thank you. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you can see future episodes. Bye-bye.